Hey guys, my name is Ryan Schlecht, and this is a presentation for the paper we had to write in Journalistic, Media, and Society. My paper topic was, does social media promote online bullying? And I want to clarify, because I don't mean promote as in advocate. I don't believe that social media is out to advocate online bullying. I believe that social media is allowing online bullying to flourish, and it's allowing it to have a medium that it had never had. And this is what I mean by promoting, like keeping it around, making it bigger and worse than ever, so to speak. So, in that end, I would like to comment that I'm a psychology major. I'm just about done with my undergraduate degree. This is my last semester, and as such, I decided to take sort of a psychological approach, be it intentional or not. And so, what I wanted to do is I wanted to look at data. I wanted to look at other people's findings. I wanted to find out what they know. I wanted to see what I could find out based on the data that they collected. So I looked at a couple of sources, and the first source that I found was this source called Linkages Between Internet and Other Media Violence with Seriously Violent Behavior by Youth. And this was a psychological journal article written by several different authors whose names you can find in my presentation link below. And this was a psychological journal article, and it was also republished in a pediatrics journal article. So, and what this was it was a review of a study that focused on teenagers who self-reported excessive violent behavior. Now, this excessive violent behavior is including shooting, stabbing, assault, robbery, and even sexual assault. So the results were that around 5% of the youths had reportedly engaged in violent behavior in just the past year alone. So of the teenagers that were interviewed, 5% of them said that they had done one of these things just in the past year. And then 38% of them had reported that they had access to just violence displays, whether it's through social media or other internet resources. The fact of the matter is that they got this access to violent information from the internet. It was predicted that exposures to these kinds of violence in the media were definitely associated with significantly elevated odds for violent behavior. This sort of goes hand in hand with the age-old question, should I let little Johnny watch these, older movies because they indicate violence? And one of the biggest arguments was, it's allowing kids to experience these things, and does it promote the violence? Does it, is it just a myth? But I think these findings are relatively important to take note of when you're trying to figure these kinds of things out. The second source I found was called Online Violence, Not Beautiful Enough, Not Thin Enough. And these were anorexia testimonials on the internet. And this was a study done on a whole bunch of different blogs that were advocating anorexia. And in these blogs, the authors were trying to tell kids and young adults that they needed to be super skinny and that there was always more weight that you could lose. Like, even if you thought you found the weight that you wanted to be at, there's still more that you could lose. And that they would then compare yourself to these, and they would post pictures of supermodels and, people who are quote unquote attractive by, the general public, and that the people should try to strive to look like. Now, these blogs had an extremely negative effect on people as they encouraged the self-destructive behavior like anorexia. And that self-destructive behavior made kids, if these kids felt like they were making themselves more beautiful and, more attractive, they felt like they were allowed to put other kids down. I've put my body through this, and now I'm the more attractive because of it, so I get to put other people down because they don't look as attractive as I do, because they had felt put down from these blog sites saying that they needed to look better. And this sort of promotes a circle of online bullying, because if it doesn't happen, if it starts online, then it's just going to continue through the online. So even if it's not kid to kid or person to person, it still is on the internet and it's bullying other people. My third source was called Social Media as a Vector for Youth and Violence. And this was a review of several different literature that was written on the very topic of online violence. So this study was based on a research team, and as I said, they took about 50 articles, maybe a little bit more, on the youth and violence and other social media, and they put them together and tried to figure out what the correlation was between all of the data that they had found. And the researchers found out that even though sometimes cyberbullying was limited to just bullying online, they also found that in most cases it extended to bullying and violence in person. So it didn't just stay online, it actually translated into real life. The review concludes that instances of cyberbullying may also be indications or warnings that the individual will, or already has, participated in physical violence or bullying if the person isn't dealt with. Like if they're not educated, if they're not confronted, if they're not, told, hey, this isn't the right way to be doing things. The paper outline, it's essentially just, it's going to be my research topic. It's going to have an introduction. It's going to talk about the threat of bullying and how it's ever present. It'll have the ways that the social media is abused by others, meaning like it takes this social media and they use it to send these messages and promote, so to speak, this bullying, get this mental image into kids' heads. Like when I talked about the anorexia article, I talked about how it was taking the kids and essentially telling them it was okay because the internet did it to you, it's okay for you to do it to other people, I guess, so to speak. And then I'm going to provide these studies that I found, among others, to try and support these conclusions that I've come to. And then I want to try and suggest some ways to possibly mitigate the situation in hopes to maybe make it a little bit easier for people to deal with should this situation arise in their own home. So in conclusion, my thesis was that social media promotes online bullying. My sources were those three articles that I had found, the psychological journal articles, which were also repeated in other places such as the pediatric journal articles. And then those are my ideas for the online paper. So thanks.